9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. This is your timeless elite, your PR princess, Stone Cold Courtney, whatever you want to call me on this Friday edition of WWT Live. It is the final Friday before the Royal Rumble tomorrow. Obviously, of course, we have SmackDown tonight, and it's just going to be me for now, but who knows? You don't know who's going to pop up in the WWT universe. So we're just going to get started because we do have a lot of news happening. And I kind of wish I did have some breaking news music because we actually got this right before we came on WWT Live today. Ava, who was the general manager for NXT, she put out a notice that she announced her WWE departure. She posted this on social media earlier today that she decided that she was not going to renew her contract. She went on to say on her Instagram post, "This past Tuesday was my last appearance on NXT, as subsequently WWE. Thank you to all who have cheered, watched, and supported me through my journey. While my decision to not renew my contract was very difficult, it's also a new turning point in my life. It has been an honor and privilege to be Ava." And then WWE, they put out a statement right before we got on here. So a lot of shocking news that came out. And also, we here at WWT do want to wish Ava the best of luck in her future endeavors. It's really interesting how this is going to go, especially with the fact she's been NXT general manager for quite some time, and very curious on who's going to be the next general manager, who's going to fill Ava's shoes. That's going to be very interesting. But we do see some people in the chat. Shout out to Boza, Eric Isaac, and Jonathan Lambeck. Thank you for joining. But if you're joining, Ava announced her WWE departure. She's no longer general manager for NXT. This actually came on a random, especially on a Friday right before the Royal Rumble happened. But as you know, she did wrestle before, but unfortunately she had to deal with a few concussion issues, and then she went back to general manager. But it's going to be very interesting who's going to be the next general manager. Could it be Robert Stone? Because we have seen Robert Stone lurking around, not just in NXT, but also entering the TNA realm, where he has a stable with Tessa Blanchard, Victoria Crawford. Or it could be William Regal, because we did see William Regal pop in on a few things. But it really is going to raise a lot of questions, and also going into Tuesday, because Ava did play a very pivotal role in NXT. I'm very curious on what direction she's going to go, but I do want to wish Ava the best of luck in their endeavors. And I'm sure wherever she goes, she's going to be successful. But make sure to watch NXT on Tuesday to check out the aftermath. I'm sure they're probably going to air it during the broadcast, but I don't know. Could it be William Regal? Could it be Robert Stone? Very intriguing on how this is going to go. And Tuesday, we do have a 7-way ladder match to determine the NXT men's champion. All this and more you can catch on Tuesday. But we go from breaking news to also happy birthday. We got to wish a happy birthday to everyone's favorite Irish lady, the man, the myth, Becky Lynch. Today is her birthday, and we here at Women's Wrestling Talk do want to wish the man a happy birthday. Ironically enough, it's a birthday right before the Royal Rumble, and it's kind of interesting where we actually celebrated 2 of the 4 horsewomen. We had Mercedes on Monday to start the week, and now we end off the week with Miss Becky Lynch. But feel free to put in the chat on what is your favorite moment from Becky Lynch. There have been many moments that she had when she first debuted on Raw, when she first won both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion, when she was 2 belts back, when she was officially called the man. so many moments that she had, and she did play a pivotal role in women's wrestling. And for Becky Lynch, she definitely made a triumphant impact. And also, she did made her say that she will be in the women's Royal Rumble match tomorrow. Bosa saying her winning the women's Intercontinental Championship the first time, she gave that title credibility. That is very true. It's very true. She gave that credibility, and she had some killing matches with not just Maxine Dupree, but also she had a very, very banger of a matches with Lyra Valkyria last year, not just at Money in the Bank, but also at SummerSlam. But we do want to wish the man a happy birthday as well. One of everybody's favorite Irish women. And Boza put in the chat, she was acting like Karen Lynch, tweeting she's meeting with her lawyers to demand. That's Becky for you. She's always in demand, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's Adam Pearce, whether it's Nick Aldis. But do want to wish a happy birthday again to the man, as she will be participating in the women's Royal Rumble match. But also we have Friday Night SmackDown happening tonight in Saudi Arabia, the final go-home show before the Royal Rumble. Now, technically, I understand it was already taped earlier at noon, but this is a spoiler-free zone, so we want to make sure it's spoiler-free, because I am aware it was taped earlier, but also want to keep it spoiler-free. I'm not sure if there's going to be a Honey Night SmackDown. Not sure if there is, but I don't think there is, because we are all getting ready for the Rumble tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific. But tonight on SmackDown, coming to you from Saudi, the final go-home show before the Royal Rumble, we're going to hear from Cody Rhodes right before he has to participate in the men's Royal Rumble. Very curious what he's going to have to say, and also what beef that he has with Jacob Fatu as well. We're also going to have the final face-off before their match tomorrow night. Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn face-to-face. It's going to be very interesting, and very curious on what's going to be the last words for them. We're also going to have Axiom finally taking on Mr. Johnny Wrestling himself, Johnny Gargano. And it's going to be a very interesting match between these two. And it's been a match that's been 2-3 weeks in the making. And we're also going to have Ilya Dragunov facing off against The Miz one-on-one after the remarks that happened last week. And also we're going to have Mr. Carmelo Hayes continue his U.S. title open challenge. Who's going to be the next challenger? We don't know, but very curious on where this is going to go. All this and more happening at the top of the hour tonight at 8 p.m. on USA Network. And very curious, there's not many matches or segments announced for the ladies. That's very interesting for the ladies as well. I'm very intrigued on it, but hopefully they have some matches and they have some segments for them, since the women will be getting ready for the Royal Rumble match tomorrow. Hopefully we do get to see appearance from Julia and Kiana James, because they have a future opportunity for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I'm very curious on what's going to happen with Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn, on how the interaction is going to look like. And it's going to be very interesting how the last words. I would not be shocked if Drew put some final words on to Sammy's wife and his son, and just kind of going down that hole. And same thing with Sammy, because Sammy's not an underdog anymore. He needs to get back in the world title. But all this and more is happening tonight on SmackDown. I don't think there is a Honey Night SmackDown happening, but I believe, yes, I do believe that, because she did post on socials. There will be no Honey Night SmackDown tonight. There is a chance we're going to have a watch along for the Royal Rumble. So feel free to bump in any way you like. Also, a few AEW news, and this was the buzz after Dynamite was done. Tommaso Ciampa made his appearance on AEW. And that has been one of the biggest shockers and conversations. I'm still flabbergasted by it. But they also goes into full details courtesy of Sports Illustrated, we're in an exclusive where Tommaso Ciampa breaks silence on why he made the move to AEW. The Psycho Killer is alive and well in All Elite Wrestling, and he pretty much goes into further details because we know he's going to be facing off against Mark Briscoe for the TNT Championship tomorrow. But he does go a little bit further, announce his sudden departure from WWE, but his decision to leave the company was long beforehand. He went on to say, it's something I've been leading towards for quite some time. I don't know that I can say there's one sole factor that led to it or caused it. I think it's one of those things where your contract is coming to an end. You naturally have discussions. Those discussions started at home with his wife and daughter. They collectively sat down as a family and discussed where the best place would be for Tommaso to continue his professional wrestling career. And ultimately, the difficult decision was made to part ways with WWE after a decade-long tenure. He goes on to say, if I wrestled in the 90s, I want to be a part of ECW. Early 2000s, you want to be a part of Ring of Honor. I was lucky I got to do that a little bit. 2010s, I think for me at least, I wanted to be part of NXT Black and Gold. And when I looked at the landscape of professional wrestling in the 2020s, the answer was AEW. Man, that's what I want to be a part of. And then he goes on to say there's something about the underground passionate fan base that he's loved about professional wrestling, which obviously played a huge factor of All Elite Wrestling. And pretty much you can check out on Sports Illustrated. But it was a very great interview that he really did. I was if you watch my watch along, I was very flabbergasted where Tommaso Ciampa just came into AEW and responded to the call with Mark Briscoe. He'll be facing off against him for the TNT Championship tomorrow. And I was just like, wow, he really seems very focused. He's hungry. And also, and I think Will's talked about this too, as being Mr. NXT, and myself and a few of us on the panel, definitely on creative part, because they just couldn't figure out a way to structure him as a single star. I mean, yes, you paired him off with DIY, but there was like no factors on comparing him as a single star. So that was like very hard to do. But I'm very happy he is getting a second chance with AEW. And I could see it being a potential for him being a single star, possibly in a very scattered yet competitive mid-card division. Because first people do complain that AEW has a lot of belts, but this is a good opportunity for him. And what other opponent, first opponent that you have is somebody that he is familiar with in the Ring of Honor space, which is none other than Mark Briscoe. And I love that Ring of Honor did their post, because they did archive footage of Ciampa when he was there, when he first came into Ring of Honor. So I'm very happy that he is finding a better place. I'm happy he did not burn bridge, and you started off at home talking with your family, figure out what's the future and what's next. So I'm very excited to see what Tommaso Ciampa is going to do in AEW, and believe he's going to be a force of reckoning to be with. But just one more section regarding AEW, which I actually found pretty fascinating, that an Adult Swim writer is working on a project with AEW. A new AEW and Adult Swim project appears to be coming soon. Nick Collins revealed that he's working on an untitled animated project for Adult Swim in collaboration with AEW. And he actually wrote this on his LinkedIn page. And it's also another fact too, AEW has collaborated with Adult Swim in the past, with Rick and Morty sponsoring an episode of Dynamite, and AEW and Adult Swim matches taking place at San Diego Comic-Con. And just a little bit about Nick Collins. He previously worked as a writer-producer with WWE from April 2025 to September 2025, and his responsibilities included collaborating and pitch directly with Triple H and senior leadership to align creative direction with brand and business strategy, develop and deliver long-term storylines, rivalries, character arcs for one of the most watched primetime shows in the world, crafting weekly scripts, in-ring promos, and backstage segments that drive audience investment, shape and evolve distinct character voices, motivation, and emotional thoroughness to ensure narrative continuity across live television, produce and direct live, pre-taped, and cinematic segments, coordinating with talent, production crews, and executives to deliver broadcast-ready television that enhances fan engagement and viewership momentum. I actually do like this opportunity that AEW is branching out a lot more in the Adult Swim space, and especially because there are also some shows on Adult Swim that are HBO Max, and that's one of the things. And this is where I put my PR brain and branding on this. It does give them a lot of opportunity to work with them. It's not the first time that they've worked with Adult Swim. They have worked with them, like with Rick and Morty in the past, and also with San Diego Comic-Con as well, where Willow Nightingale and Orange Cassidy actually had a mixed tag team match with Johnny TV and Tyra Valkyrie during San Diego Comic-Con. So I'm really excited for this really great opportunity with them. And also it really kind of continues the opportunity that the partnership that they have with HBO Max is just doing stuff like this. Hopefully we do get to see a lot more, not just with Adult Swim, but also HBO Max. DC Comics is another one I want to see expand a lot more and just really continue launching into branding and everything else. And I think it would be a good opportunity if we get to see some AEW stars make some guest appearances on shows on HBO Max. That's what I'm waiting for. And yes, Bosa, Conglomeration Boulevard, that needs to be a thing too. That needs to be like a web mini series, like detailing everything from the conglomeration. I think that would be a really cool like a mini web series to do, especially on socials. I think that would be a hit too, but I don't know. We shall see on that. But kudos to AEW for really, really going the long board, and hopefully we get to see more collaborations with not just Adult Swim, HBO Max, but also with DC Comics and overall Warner Brothers in the future. Also, since we are Women's Wrestling Talk, we support all the ladies regarding major promotions, independent and local. Just some quick news regarding Stardom. And this is the news that we don't want to hear. Stardom's own Bozilla is unfortunately sidelined for the foreseeable future. Earlier this month at Stardom, Bozilla suffered a fall and was attended by officials. Her knee was put in a brace and she was helped to the back. On Thursday, Bozilla confirmed that she suffered an ACL tear that will require surgery. She did go on and display the following message. Honestly, it still doesn't seem real. I'm deeply devastated and still struggling to find the right words. I wish that this weren't true, but unfortunately, it's reality. On January 11, 2026, I injured my knee right at the beginning of my match at Korakuen Hall. Despite extreme pain, I was able to finish this match, but towards the end of the match, my knee completely gave up. The diagnosis is a complete ACL tear, which will require surgery. I was taking great care of my entire Stardom team at ringside and backstage. I'm incredibly grateful that I wasn't alone in that moment and had people around me who mean a lot to me, didn't leave my side, and who continue to support me through my recovery. At this time, I don't know how long I'll be out for or when I'll be able to return yet. What I do know is wrestling is my life and my passion, and this breaks hurts deeply. I try to remain positive and believe that everything happens for a reason. I'll come back stronger, better, and more dangerous than ever before. Thanks to all the fans for your incredible support, as well to my friends Stardom, President Okada, me Vita Loca, and thanks to all the people that reached out and checked on me. It truly means a lot to me. Japan is my home, and I'll do everything I can to be back as soon as possible. The next chapter will be the road to recovery, and I hope you continue supporting me throughout this chapter of my life. That was a long statement, and we don't like to see serious injuries like this. I'm really grateful for one of the things of AEW introducing us to start promotions like Stardom. because the first time I ever saw her wrestle was at Forbidden Door last year, where Mercedes Moné had a fatal 4-way match for the TBS title. It was her versus CMLL's Persephone versus AEW's Alex Windsor, and obviously, of course, Mercedes Moné. And Bozilla had an impressive showing in that match, and the future does look bright for her. She's very talented. She almost gave Mercedes a run for her money, and hopefully she does heal up, because we don't like to see anybody suffer serious injuries that way. And especially if somebody uses the F word when it comes to professional wrestling, you have them tell that to Bozilla. You have them tell that to Elton Prince. You have them tell that to Mick Foley, Darby Allin. I could go on and on. I could go on and on and on about this, but we do here at Women's Wrestling Talk do want to wish a speedy recovery to Bozilla for everything, and hopefully she gets 100% very, very soon. But right before, because we do have, this is going to be a very quick WWT, but you don't know who's going to show up. So, but also do want to put a friendly reminder in that we do have a special initiative for Women's Wrestling Talk, and it's something that our boss lady TK created to help with women's history. And it's so great because not only we have Women's History in March, we have Black History Month starting in February, and everything is going to go inside the Women's Wrestling Archive, which is a new initiative that we're doing at Women's Wrestling Talk. Any donation helps. $1, $2, $3, any support helps, and support the Women's Wrestling Archive.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches January 1st, 2026, and it's gonna pave the way for all women's wrestling.
Because if we don't document it, a man might say he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate $1, $5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
Make sure to support the Women's Wrestling Archive and everything here on Women's Wrestling Talk. Right before we get into the Royal Rumble, because I wanted to leave time for both predictions, and you never know, like I said, you never know who's going to show up for WWT Live. So I wanted to save that for last. But also just some quick TNA news. If you did watch TNA Impact last night, obviously, of course, we did see Alyssa Edwards leave the system, but also, if you recall, last week we did have a feast or fired match from last week. And we also saw the return of Trey Miguel. So during TNA, they brought it back where multiple talents try to retrieve the briefcases. And there are 4 briefcases. One of the talents was going to secure a TNA World title, a TNA International title match, a TNA X Division title match, or they will be fired from the promotions. So the 4 people that got it were Eric Young, Trey Miguel, Eddie Edwards, and Steve Macklin. And during the revelation, we found out which person had the briefcases. Eddie Edwards got the world title match opportunity. Trey Miguel got the international title opportunity. Eric Young got the X Division title opportunity. And unfortunately, Steve Macklin got the briefcase to be fired. Unfortunately, Steve Macklin, well, courtesy of Fightful back in October of last year, Fightful did report that Macklin's contract with TNA was up in the coming months. Also, during his time in TNA, he was a 1-time Impact World Champion and 2-time TNA International Champion. You don't like to see anybody get fired from this, especially with Macklin. But I mean, Eric Isaac is saying Macklin's going to join Deanna's wife in AEW. That would be pretty easy, but is it? Is it really? Do you really think he's going to join? I don't know, because Steve Macklin is a talent, but also I did see on his Twitter, he is taking bookings right now. So if anybody in the independent scene wants Steve Macklin, he is now accepting bookings right now. I mean, I don't want to say AEW Ring of Honor because that's like too easy. I mean, obviously, of course, his wife Tiana is there. They also do have a podcast together, Boots to Boots. So make sure to check out their podcast. It's really great. The latest episode they had was Madison Rain, and it was a really good, solid episode. So make sure to do that. It's going to be very interesting where Steve goes. I mean, after he's been with TNA forever. Boza, you're saying WWE, maybe NXT? Maybe he could make a surprise at NXT. I don't know. The sky is the limit for Steve Macklin, and it's one of those things where you really think about, and also with wrestling, because we did talk about with the cuts last year, where we did see a lot of people get cut from their contract in WWE, and it's pretty much the sky is the limit for them, and they get a second chance at wrestling. We've seen that with Elena Black, formerly known as Cora Jade, make a return to TNA. We have seen Sonya Deville, but now she goes as Daria Ray. She's making a second chance. And also, I didn't think we would see her again. Victoria Crawford's making another chance at TNA. But, I mean, it's one of those things, but we do wish Steve Macklin the best in his future endeavors. I would not be shocked if a deal was already done for TNA. Like, I would not be shocked if it was under the rug, because contracts can be very tricky. But we shall see where Steve ends up. But if you really want to book him, for any independent wrestlings that want to book him, feel free to check out his email address and get him booked for shows. And who knows? I mean, I would not be shocked if he made a move in AEW, but I don't know. We shall see. But our final story of the day, we shall see. Obviously, of course, we got the Royal Rumble happening tomorrow. Friendly reminder, it is in Saudi. It's at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific. If you're in the US, you get the ESPN app. But if you're international, you get it from Netflix. So we do have, well, I'm going to be doing bold predictions for the Royal Rumble in Saudi. I know Kane gave his bold predictions on Wednesday. So I will share Kane's bold predictions. So for the Royal Rumble, for the men's one, he is picking Sami Zayn. And also for the women's Royal Rumble, he's picking Chelsea Green. For this match, he picked Gunther. And then, of course, Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn, he's picking Drew. So those are Kane's bold predictions. My bold predictions is for Gunther versus AJ Styles. If Gunther wins, AJ Styles has to retire from wrestling. This is really an interesting match because I know people think like AJ's going to retire after this. I am picking Gunther to win. However, for some odd reason, because they didn't say wrestling, they just said WWE career. They didn't mention anything about TNA career, because I think AJ might have some fuel left in the tank for TNA. But I am picking Gunther for this. I mean, I don't think you can drop his momentum, because there's no way that I could see him dropping so soon. But like I said, and Boza, exactly, I don't think there's shenanigans, but I would say wrestling career. But WWE, yeah. WWE career, yes. But I do pick Gunther for this. I just think for some odd reason, AJ's WWE career deal is done. It's just crazy. He debuted 10 years ago. But I do see AJ making his rounds one last time in the TNA realm, because we need to see him and Frankie Kazarian go ahead one last time. So I'm picking Gunther. And then we have the undisputed WWE Championship match. Drew McIntyre taking on Sami Zayn. A little fact, Sami Zayn has not beaten Drew McIntyre. He has never beaten him. Now, it's going to be, Boza says a new champion, Sami Zayn. I don't want Sami to win it just yet. I mean, I want to see how Drew thrives as a champion. I want to see him thrive. I want to see how well he does as a champion throughout the year, because I'm so happy he deserves it. But I am going to pick Drew to retain. I think there is a lot of potential for Sami to get the title. Obviously, of course, we do have Vegas this year. Later in the year, we got SummerSlam. But also next year at WrestleMania, they're going to be at Saudi. Well, that is true, Boza. I mean, look, money talks and everything else, but I don't know. A lot can happen in a year now. Well, I wouldn't say Will doesn't dislike Sami Zayn. I think it's just like him continuing to be an underdog, because he does have potential. It's just he needs to stop being an underdog. I wouldn't be mad either, but I'm picking Drew McIntyre to retain. We may see Sam, if Sami does lose, we may see him at the Royal Rumble match too. So he does have a chance. He does have another opportunity. So not going to count out Sami Zayn. And also we do have the men's Royal Rumble match. We have the men's. Like, look at the poster. Look at all these potential folks. We have Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, Obafemi, Austin Theory, Rey Mysterio, Roman Reigns, Braun Breaker, Jey Uso, Logan Paul, Penta. There's so many people, decisions to make. So many decisions to make. So many. And also shout out to our mayor. Said you can pop in the chat, you can pop in live, because we are doing Royal Rumble and it is Friday. I had to make sure we did get one, but Boza is picking Obafemi. But I think it's going to be very interesting. So I actually have a very interesting theory on this Royal Rumble match. And this is actually very interesting, especially what happened on Monday. So I know people were picking LA Knight. A lot of people picking Sami Zayn. A lot of people picking Oba. I'm actually going to go with a dark horse pick that I don't think anybody saw coming. Finn Balor is going to be in the Royal Rumble match. I know Adam Pearce said that the Royal Rumble's full, but I just have a feeling he's going to be put in that match one way or another. Or take out an entrant. Because he will be in that Royal Rumble match. And for some odd reason, because if it's not Braun, it's not LA Knight. I know LA Knight, but Finn needs to get a win. That is my dark horse pick for the Royal Rumble match. For some odd reason, I just have that feeling Finn Balor is going to be in the Royal Rumble match, because he's long overdue for a win. He's way long overdue. So that is my dark horse pick for the Royal Rumble on the men's side. And I know I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a little bit chewed up, but we shall see. But I'm picking Finn Balor as my dark horse for the Royal Rumble. I just think he's going to be in it. And then we have the ladies. We have the ladies for the Royal Rumble match. You see all these potential ladies: Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Io Sky, Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, Becky Lynch, Asuka. All of them. All these precious little ladies coming in. This is very tough for the ladies for me, because I feel almost every single one has a potential to win. It's going to be very interesting. We may see AJ Lee in the Royal Rumble match. Hopefully we do get to see the return of Bianca Belair and Tiffany Stratton to compete in the Royal Rumble match. Obviously, we're going to see Jordynne Grace, Chelsea Green. This is going to be very interesting because I had the chance to watch Liv Morgan's pre-show earlier today. And she talked about ever since they started the Women's Royal Rumble match, she competed in every single one and was always the bridesmaid, never the bride. So I'm going to pick Liv Morgan to win the Women's Royal Rumble match. I think it is time for her because she did have a killer year 2 years ago, because I know she was out for half the year last year, but I'm going to pick Liv Morgan to win the Women's Royal Rumble match. She's deserving. And plus, I got to represent my Jersey girls. I have to represent my Jersey girls. But that's who I'm picking. But feel free to put in the chat who you guys picking for the men and women's Royal Rumble match. And that is your quick bold predictions, because we're just going to keep this easy breezy on this Friday edition of WWT Live, because I know we have SmackDown coming up, 3 hours of SmackDown, no spoilers. Also, I believe we're going to have a watch along tomorrow for the Royal Rumble match. I believe so. We are going to have one. So feel free to stay with us. But obviously, of course, you guys know where to find me. You know where to find me on my socials on a @CourtneyNJ11. Make sure to check out the posts that I have. Posts that I have for the last couple days. Make sure to follow ISBW Wrestling, because we do have a lot of cool shows happening in February. February 13th, I will be back on the commentator's desk for a glitter ticket battle royal that is happening on February 13th. Very excited for that. Do you want to shout out to everybody from the WWT team panel, because I know Boss Lady's on vacation, and we all have obligations since it is the start of the new year, but we wanted to make sure that we give you guys a Friday edition right before the Royal Rumble tomorrow. And like I said, it has been a very somber time in the news world, but do want to put out a note in there to make sure to support us. It is very scary times, but we want to make sure to entertain you guys. And obviously, I have been following what's been happening with media lately and the reporters that have been sustained and everything else. But just want to make sure to support the media, independent journalism, and as someone that is a publicist, everything goes to a good cause. So make sure to follow the credibility and support of independent journalism doing their thing. Make sure to follow Women's Wrestling Talk, because we have some amazing, amazing things happening. I will not be on Monday because Monday Night Raw will be in Philadelphia. So I'm very excited to attend a Monday Night Raw. So I will not be here Monday, but I'm sure a lot of people from the team will be here on Monday. And thank you all. And shout out to everybody in the chat, from Boza to Jonathan Lamby, Cousin Ron, Eric Isaac. We did have appearance from Ced in the chat. Special Little Nobody, Zach Minger, Aaron Teal. Thank you all for joining on this Friday edition right before the Rumble for Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And hold on. I was just about to leave. I was just about to wrap up, but I guess you could just say his name since he come on a Friday. So, yeah.
Amen. He appears. I believe it. Said.
I was getting ready to wrap. Said
hello, everybody. You hear the sound of my voice. It is I, your mayor. That means the bills have been paid and you get to see me twice in 1 week. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, Courtney. And yeah, I saw you closing out. I got here as fast as I could. Computers, whatever, stuff like that. Right. But I couldn't not show up because it's the most wonderful time of year. No, not Christmas. It's the Royal Rumble. That's how we get to WrestleMania. It's the first stop.
Indeed. Before I get your predictions on the Royal Rumble, I wanted to get your thoughts regarding what happened with Ava earlier today, because she did announce her departure as NXT general manager. What's going to be the landscape? who do you think is going to be the next GM? Because that is going to be very interesting on how that's going to play out on Tuesday.
That is, because there's been this. Ava's been as much of an on-screen present as Aldis and Pierce. So I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I know there was some. I know Ava's continued to put in the work in the ring. I don't know if this is like a separation for the company, but it's very subtle, not subtle, sudden that this is happening. And you can watch Unreal and maybe put 2 and 2 together with the power struggle backstage with Triple H, TKO. I don't know what this means for Ava, and I don't know how this happened so sudden when her father is on the board as well. I'm sure more news will begin to come out, but as far as replacements, I think it might be a lateral thing in the time being. Like you'll probably see, since there is a lot of TNA crossover, maybe Santino picks up that slack for a little bit, since he's the kind of the de facto GM of TNA. Outside of that, I don't know. I really am looking at the landscape trying to think of somebody who's Ava wasn't a veteran, but she started off wrestling, but I can't think of anybody that could fill that slot like imminently unless Shawn Michaels steps into a more on-camera role as like the main producer.
It is interesting because I mentioned this earlier because like somebody mentioned Robert Stone because I know he's been on TNA for a bit because he's power hungry or whatever you want to call him. William Regal was another one because he's been popping up on TNA as much. Also, Sonya Deville, formerly known as Sonya Deville. Daria, she's making her mark on TNA because kind of she's working with Santino in a way, but it's kind of like anything you could do, I could do better. So it's kind of very interesting, especially with the fact that they are going to crown a new NXT men's champion. That's also going to be very interesting too. So I'm very curious on where this is going to go. I mean, I can't put my finger on it. There's many possibilities, but we shall see with that. But we do want to wish Ava the best of luck in everything that she does. She has been a very important piece in NXT. We've seen her have many interactions with some of the stars in NXT. So hopefully whatever she does her thing very well.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get your thoughts regarding SmackDown because I know if you did not see the preview, because we know it was already taped in Saudi. No spoilers in the chats, but just a quick rundown for SmackDown for you because we are going to hear from Cody Rhodes right before he has to compete in the Royal Rumble match. We're also going to have Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn right before their big confrontation right before tomorrow's big match at the Royal Rumble. We're also going to have Axiom taking on Johnny Gargano one-on-one. We're also going to have Ilya Dragunov facing off against The Miz after last week's shenanigans during Carmelo Hayes' U.S. Open Challenge. And we're also going to have Carmelo Hayes continuing his U.S. Open Challenge, all this happening tonight. But is there a match in particular or a segment that you're interested to see on SmackDown?
Probably right here with the Open Challenge, because I think there's so many things they can do. Carmelo's been on a phenomenal run as U.S. champion, but more so what I'm hoping is because they are in Saudi Arabia. If you guys saw the news earlier this week, they did sign the Saudi Arabia performer. I don't remember the name, so I won't butcher it. For me, who is a selfish Royal Rumble fan, I don't like to see wasted spots in the Rumble. There's a lot of swirling around at that gentleman might be a Rumble entrant, which would probably get a pop for the crowd there. I hope that he's actually Melo's surprise opponent tonight. Let's just do it there, and it'd be cool for Melo to face a complete unknown and newcomer as well in Saudi Arabia. So that's what I'm pulling for. That's who I hope. And as far as the Rumble itself, I have to imagine it's going to be bookended with the ladies first and then the men main eventing with the other matches in between. I love that the Rumble has been so close to the vest this year. Not much chatter around it. We barely got people declaring within the past couple of weeks. We genuinely don't know who's going to be in the Rumble. That's a good thing. That it's like maybe half people declared. You still got so many slots. So I want to say I expect surprises because we do have the ESPN partnership, and
Mhm.
every ESPN PLE thus far hasn't been very surprising, like at all. I would say since the partnership began, a lot of the PLEs have been rather underwhelming. They've been very straight by the script. So I feel like we'll see some ladies legends in the women's rumble, like people like Trish. You might see a Lita spot. We haven't heard from Lita since she got hurt, like so many. I thought I'd say a couple years ago now.
Yep.
I think maybe Mickey. There's a lot of talk about maybe Saraya returns his page. She's posting a lot of videos of her training now. I think from a surprise standpoint, the Women's Royal Rumble has a lot more potential to deliver that product as far as surprises. Even AJ Lee, I expect AJ Lee and Becky to have interaction. As far as who's going to win, that's where it gets confusing for me. And I don't believe that. I generally don't believe that Bianca Belair is returning. Otherwise, she'd be like the run-on favorite. So my curveball is that I think Liv or Rox win the Rumble. Rox was the she broke the record for time spent, I believe, last year. Liv makes a lot of sense, but I'm leaning Rox just to further tie the dissension. Of course, Raquel has a title shot next Monday, and if Rox is Miss Royal Rumble, then you continue to tease the dissension in Judgment Day, and maybe Liv gets more jealous that she just returned and is taking a back seat. So that's what I'll say there. Because I think the rumor is you want to have a triple threat between those women at Mania. Men, to me, men is like so telegraphed to me. As far as like the currently announced entrants, things like that, barring some surprise, and no, I don't think Chris Jericho will win the Rumble. And I don't think he's declared yet, but I feel like we're going to redo the whole Becky Lynch spot from, I forget what year it was, 2022, 2021. We're going to redo that with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is going to lose to Drew McIntyre, go 0-12, and declare for the Rumble, looking at you, Rey Mysterio, since you just got hurt, and take that Rumble spot and maybe steal it before Finn Balor can. And Sami Zayn is going to go on to defy the odds, go to WrestleMania as your main eventer. It's so clear to me now that can happen. And if it's not Sami, then I really don't know. I think it would be somebody who's returning that gets that spot.
I think I gave my picks for Liv for the women's one I picked because she's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, especially after hearing what she said in the pre-show earlier today, because she's been in every single women's Royal Rumble, has not won. This is the time for her to go. I do think Roxanne is going to be the one to portray her first because Roxy can be very sneaky.
Sure.
She can be very sneaky. So I would not pass it Roxanne, but I do pick Liv. The men's one, people say Sammy, people say LA Knight, but I'm actually picked a dark horse. I actually picked Finn Balor only because
God, LA Knight, I'd be so sick.
The only reason I picked Finn was after what happened on Monday. He's going to get in the match one way or another. It doesn't matter what you have to do or whatever else. And plus, this man has made so many losses. It's like, give him the biggest win that you can. For some odd reason, I would not put it past Finn. It's just like, it's something there that he needs. But in worst case scenario, I can always see him winning at Elimination Chamber. Like,
who would you have him challenging?
But Punk.
You'd stick with the Raw storyline.
Yeah. He would have to face Punk.
Okay. I mean, it was also I don't want to call it leaked. Triple H flat out said it, that the winners of Elimination Chamber will receive title shots at Mania. So I don't even know if that was like a Freudian slip, and it's like these Rumble winners don't matter. Like it makes me think of the Iron Survivor. Javon won the Iron Survivor and just gave it up like a week later. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do it now. We might see something like that. I don't know. The company has no idea what they want to do. My other bold prediction for the Rumble: Obafemi eliminates all members of the Vision.
I can see that happening.
You wanna like keep things out with a bang and people think Braun Breaker's going to get to the final 4 or whatever, or bottom 2, I have the vision, cleaning house, taking out everybody. Obafemi eliminates all of them. And then maybe Brock eliminates Obafemi, something like that.
Something like that. I could see Omos make an appearance in the match. I would like for him. He's not going to win it, but I can see him being in the match. And I wouldn't mind if he stared down either Oba or Brock. Maybe Powerhouse Hobbs. Well, it's not Hobbs, but I could see a stare down because
I forgot what they said it was, like Felix something. I forget what they said.
It's Royce Keys. That's going to be his name. Okay. But I do think for some odd reason I see Omos in the match, especially with the fact he is going to be working with Vikingo, since now he's the #1 contender for the AAA Mega Championship. So he'll be facing off against Dom in the future.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
But also for this, who do you have between Gunther and AJ Styles?
I feel like it got spoiled already. Like, I feel like this is AJ Styles and technically him losing to Gunther. I hate that we're saddling Gunther with the career killer thing. I think it's lame. And I think it has no legs. It might force people to have to buy in and retire early. But I think he cheats to win to defeat AJ Styles. And AJ technically has to end his WWE career. Maybe his contract is his final year is going to allow him to work extensively TNA dates and maybe someplace else afterwards. I don't think this is going to be AJ's final match of 2026 at all, even judging by him going to file his trademarks that he did just this week. Also, he said there's a lot of people around the world he wants to wrestle one final time in his promo. So I think this is a way of saving face. AJ doesn't lose clean. Gunther cheats again to get AJ out, and AJ has to kind of honor that, leave WWE, but you'll see him working throughout the year, and maybe they set it up like they did with Cena at the end of the year, like a main event or something. It's like, hey, we allowed somebody to earn AJ's contract back or something for one night only. I can see something like that happening.
I did pick Gunther winning, but I have AJ ending his WWE career. And that means he is going to probably not end his TNA career, because I do think there is a lot of potential with TNA, with the house that he built. And also, I know people know him from being at WWE almost 10 years ago, since that's where he made his debut at the Royal Rumble. But I don't think people realize that he had an impact in TNA. We've talked about this many times. Him and Frankie Kazarian want to have at least one more match before they go. He's had interactions with Mike Santana, Leon Slater. Well, Steve Macklin left, but that's kind of out of the two. But he's made his rounds in the TNA world, and I just think there is a lot of potential in that zone. I just don't want him to hang it up yet. So I do think there is something that they could do within the TNA realm that he could do. And like I said, I'm just waiting for him versus Frankie. And then we have Drew McIntyre taking on Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is 0-12 for Sami. In some way, he'll get into the Rumble by the end of the night. I expect this to be the second match of the night right after the Women's Rumble, so we can just jump into it. But I expect him to lose to Drew, put on a good performance, and be so frustrated that he forces himself into the Rumble to get another shot at Drew.
I think that's going to be something. I did pick Drew to retain. I just can't see Drew losing it yet. And I also want to see how his run's going to go, especially as a heel, because so far he's been doing pretty solid as a champion. Like, pretty much doing what he does, taunting on socials, doing everything else. I want to see him continue building that as champion. And I just want to see him walk into WrestleMania as undisputed WWE champion. I just want to see him walk in.
He can lose it then. Ultimate underdog. This is the year of the ultimate underdog.
It's pretty much. And also, said one more thing before we get out of here. I don't know if you saw Dynamite, but Tommaso Ciampa came into AEW Dynamite. And I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on how you're feeling. We already know he has a match tomorrow against Mark Briscoe for the TNT Championship on Collision tomorrow, but just wanted to get your thoughts on it. And you think he'll fit in the realm of All Elite?
I really hope. To me, this is a big fumble for WWE not having creative plans for Tommaso Ciampa. And then the DIY thing is cool for nostalgia, but a lot of your main roster audience didn't really gravitate to them. We see the same thing happening with the Motor City Machine Guns. Their money should have been in Gargano versus Ciampa on the main roster, and they never did it. They never did it. They never allowed those two guys to have enough legs to have solo careers on their own. And now I would hope they allow Johnny to get away from this like very dry heel gimmick and get back to being Johnny Gargano. Because I think it has legs if you allow him to be kind of this ultimate overachiever. Like they have to get back to that. Because if not, we've seen it so many times where TK he'll take these black and gold talents and bring them to AEW. Now, whether he maximizes those or not, it doesn't matter. They're over there now. We've seen it with Samoa Joe. We've seen it with the Undisputed Era, like Keith Lee, all these guys over there. And some have swam with the currents and some have had unfortunate injuries and other things. But I saw a stat about all the people in AEW that were in the NXT Black and Gold era. And it's like the whole damn era like is in AEW. Now, as far as Ciampa, I feel like he fits the landscape fine. I just hope that it's not one of those things because he has such a creative mind and he can bring this character to life like nobody else. I hope it's not one of those things where he's on AEW Dynamite and Collision for a period of time and then he just gets put into Ring of Honor. I hope we don't do that because the creative that he has, like you got to remember, there was a point in time where Ciampa was the biggest heel in the industry. Like the same way we looked at Dom this past year. Ciampa was like that on steroids in NXT, in the development brand. We knew about Ciampa. He didn't need music. He just came out to booze. Like they can really maximize this and make Ciampa look like a threat in the entire AEW landscape. And I hope that's what happens. That's what I really hope because he has history with a lot of people there in that brand, has the promo skills to hang with anybody. And like he said, he's entering another peak for himself. So in ring wise, there's still so much he has to give. I just hope they really maximize it.
You really can't don't put him with the Don Callis family. That's just me. I just know that he can do solo by himself. They need stronger heels as singles. He doesn't need to be with anybody else. Just let him be by himself and he can run with it. And also I was talking about this on Wednesday, where their mid-card is very competitive. I mean, I know people complain about the belts and everything, but their mid-card division is very competitive because if you go back to like the Attitude Era where everybody was on the main event set and all the mid-card division was so competitive.
So many people.
And there's so much competitiveness that you can get with all your mid-card belts. Crazy. Yeah, yes, Jordan, that is true. He always brings in facts and he has an intellectual as well.
Is SI Sports Illustrated? Because I've seen some of the writers there. I need to be over there.
And Jordan, this is probably your first time meeting Ced, so that's all good. Trust me, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I've been missing. I've been on like a extended hiatus, and then TK told me to man up. So I said, "What kind?" And decided to show up to work.
So, yes. So, Jordan, you're going to be seeing a lot more Ced. He's not going anywhere with WWT. But as I mentioned with the AEW mid-card, like they got a lot of mid-card division they could work with. Obviously, with Ciampa, he's working with Mark Briscoe. We're going to see Ricochet take it on Jungle Jack Perry for the AEW National Championship. It looks like Takeshita may be facing off against Moxley for the Continental title, but I'm hoping for Okada. Well, that too, because we thought it was going to be Okada for the international one, but I think he's going to face off against Moxley first.
No, I like the matchup, so that's why I'm saying that. I like Takeshita. That's nice.
Yes.
More Takeshita in prominent spaces. I would love to see Takeshita really get main event pull with the company, especially being an international star. Like we need more of that at the top of the card.
He is. I think he is. I think this is going to be something WWE, AEW needs to do most specifically with their agent stars that WWE kind of fumbled on. So I do think there is an opportunity for WWE to really grasp on Takeshita and some of their other agent stars they have on the roster that can make him a main event star.
Right.
I think that's something that they're going to have to figure out, and it's a good opportunity. Obviously, of course, if Takeshita is face off against Mox, I'm just going to put that out there. I put that out Wednesday. Kyle Fletcher is taking that international belt from Okada. If it's not Takeshita, I can see Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah. Fletcher's ready.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely ready. I do think there is a lot of potential there. But like I said, AEW mid-card's talent is like competitive, and I'm very happy they're bringing that back. But one more thing before we get out of here, said I wanted to get your quick thoughts, because I did say last night on TNA that Steve Maclin was fired from TNA. So now he's a free agent. He has everything happening, and just wanted to get your quick thoughts regarding Steve Maclin and what is going to be next for him.
Seems like I feel like TNA is a natural landing spot for a lot of people these days, but I'm thinking about other like big free agents in the past year, and MLW is growing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's big star power MLW, and I think the schedule is really good for people. You can watch it for free on YouTube. I think that's another big selling point to further your career, boost your name. Shout out to Killer Cross, new MLW champion as of last night in the Battle Riot. I think there's something to be said there. I think we're still pending. I don't think it happened last night, but I think we're still pending the Shotzi Priscilla Kelly match. I feel like one of them got hurt, something there. But there's a lot of star power there, and I can see that as the gravitational pull over there, just because there's a little bit more freedom with MLW right now.
Yeah, I think that would be really good for Steve Maclin to shine. Shout out to Karrion Kross. Make sure to check out his video with Honey on WWT's socials. But said before we get out of here, is there anything that I missed? In the words of Cody Rhodes, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm just ready for the Rumble. I didn't want to miss this because it's the precursor to Rumble. I think for myself, it'll be an interesting day. It'll be like a brunch Rumble for me, because it's going to be right around 11 a.m. Pacific. But I'm excited for it. Rumble is always my favorite PLE of all time. And I just hope they deliver in both Rumbles. I hope they really surprise us and give us out of the box winners. Like Jay and Charlotte last year, they really did nothing with either one as winners outside of Jay, but it was short lived. I hope they really put more thought into this year since they've kept it so under wraps, because WrestleMania will be here right before you know it.
Yep, it's pretty much. And this is where it kicks off the road to WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble tomorrow. I think we're going to have a watch along tomorrow.
We are.
It's going to be a good opportunity because Honey and I will be stuck in snow because we've had snowstorms. So if you are in the East Coast like us, it's a good opportunity to just stay in and watch some wrestling. But we got to get out of here because it is SmackDown happening tonight, the final SmackDown before the Royal Rumble. Just make sure it's tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific on the ESPN app if you live in the U.S. If you live internationally, you can get it on Netflix. Or if you don't want to do that, you can get a VPN because Women's Wrestling Talk has a VPN. So feel free to check that out as well. But Ced, where can the people find you?
You can find me in all things Instagram. I don't know if we're doing the TikToks anymore, but it's Ced is the answer right now on there. And then on the Twitter feed at Ced Says, CEWD_SAYS. Of course, you can find me here Monday nights for the Monday Nightmare Raw recap. I'm going to be turning those into shorts as well. That'll be digestible on socials. And then just a lot of content. Of course, be writing for this platform. I do owe you guys some literature on the downfall or demise of the CEO, which I think is going to be a bigger thing throughout the rest of this year as we get to All In. But yeah, that's where for now. And I'm guessing my tag team partner also wants to create some content. So whether it's We Got Next, whatever we're going to call it, content, with Mr. Jacob DeLawrence. Shout out to Della. We gonna have something for you guys sometime in 2026.
People can always find me chirping periodically. Wednesdays, AEW Dynamite. I give you the watch along every week. You do not want to miss next Wednesday's Dynamite, where it's coming to you from Las Vegas. Make sure to follow me on @CourtneyNJ11 on Instagram and Twitter. I got a lot of stuff happening, content's happening, a lot of stuff brewing in the coming weeks for WWT as well. I will not be on Monday because Monday Night Raw will be in Philly. So I'm very excited to attend Monday Night Raw the night after the Royal Rumble. I'm very excited on that. But yeah, and feel free because she's cooking a lot. Also, shout out to the rest of the WWT team because we do have a lot of stuff happening. And tomorrow's the first day. Well, Monday is the first day of Black History Month. So make sure to support on that. Shout out to everybody in the chat, Cousin Ron, Jordan from Canada, Boza, Aaron Teagle, Jonathan Lamby. Thank you all for joining and spending the final WWT Live before the Royal Rumble and supporting Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Have a great evening, and we will see you tomorrow for the Rumble.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.